Okay, I did a video a bit back on how to add a fill type. I'm not going to get into the fruit type. I want to kind of just mess with a quick version of fill type. I was stumbling through it just as a live stream, and I wanted to come back and just do a little bit of an update tutorial because someone was on there kind of correcting me on some things that I did wrong, and I kind of knew what I did wrong, but I had done it before and found the issue while I was trying to do the tutorial. So I'm going to try to do this non-live, just recording so I don't get distracted by chat. I love talking to people in my chat, but I want to try to keep concentration on what I'm actually doing here. First off, the map I'm going to be messing with is actually only version 007. The last one I saw is 008, and there's only a difference of a few days. And I think 8 has some bale types, which I don't get into anyway, but if you already have the extra fruit, you're going to have the additional map types. And like I said, if you look on Marhu's site, or I'm sure you can look around, you can find fill types. Additional fill types is basically, I think, what it's under. Anyhow, yeah, we're going to go in, we're going to add coffee to the map, and I just want to kind of show you some different things. So let's go right to the mod script, is where all your extra additional fruit types and fill types are. And once again, a fruit type is obviously something you have to seed, and fill type is just basically something you're going to add to a factory. So we're going to, let's just take, for an example, let's take the, I don't want to compost, let's do, let's just grab this apple. Just for rule of thumb, I'll just copy another fill type, and compost is going to be in there anyway. It's usually lime and sand, I believe, as well. So let's just take the apple for now. I'm going to head and go all the way to home, and I hit Shift and Control C to copy, and then I'm going to scroll down, and I'll go up a line, add a line. I like to try to keep it somewhat the same, spread out and a little bit organized, not perfectly. I'd like to have all these lined up. We're not getting into that either. So what we're going to do, and I should have went up further, but we're going to go ahead and we're just going to call this coffee. Price per liter, let's go ahead and jack it up a little bit because coffee is worth a little more. 1.0. We want to show on the price, liters per second. I have not messed with that. The mass per liter you can mess with if your tipper gets too heavy. We're not going to use for spray. We want to make it a category. And it's just different type fill types, and what we're going to get into, I'll show a little bit of that as well. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to make it fork just to kind of show you something that I'm working on. So let's go ahead and paste that in. Has materials. We don't have to mess. I'm going to leave it as true right now, but it isn't going to matter anyway. Well, let's just for the heck of it, false. We're going to use heap false as well. We'll get into that in a little bit. It's not going to be a cow, not going to be a cow, not power food, not going to be a windrow. Obviously these things are pretty self-explanatory. Not cow liquid, not going to sheep grass. All this stuff, we're going to leave it false. And I believe if it's false you can actually delete it, but we're going to leave this alone for now. So we already did the actual registration of what the fruit is. We need to go up and actually add it into the map as well. So let's copy that. I'm sure I could spell it right, but sometimes you never know. And I like to try to keep same thing here. You get your fruit and you have your fill type. So I like to try to add it in just for reference. Once again, we're going to copy that over there. We're going to copy this line, paste it back in, and we're going to go, and this is your actual fill type. This is what everything in your map, any kind of triggers is going to take spelled just like that. You don't want to have uppercase, lowercase, and get that all messed up. It has to be exactly what it is, and then what you actually want to call it as far as visual, when it reads back, is where you want to type it in here. And I usually just capitalize it here. It's just something I do, and I apologize, I do not know German, so hopefully you're watching in English. So now we actually have it registered with a name, Just gonna double check, Control F. I think it's been a long time since I've done this, so let's go back. So compost, yep, it goes right into that. So we already got coffee here, like so. Copy that, paste it, coffee, and coffee there. So we're registered. So we should have it on the map. So go ahead and save our mod to script. Something else I'm going to do, I'm going to go into the map. I'm going to my map 01XML. I'm going to my farm silo. I'm going to add it into this guy so I can actually test it. This is how I cheat and test. I'm going to go ahead and save, close it, and what we're going to do is, we're not done yet actually. We need to actually go in. So I didn't go ahead and get ahead on this little guy, but we're going to need a fruit HUD. Even though we don't have all the materials, we still need a fruit HUD. So let's go ahead and grab a regular fill and a small. Let's open them guys up, and we need to find coffee. Pull this off just in case something offensive comes up. In fact, I might actually be able to go to my HUDs, which are basically PV15 coffee HUD. Let's see what it looks like here. Yeah, that'll work actually. So, yeah. In a rule of thumb, I'll try to remember to put this in the description, but you really should get this guy here, WTV, because you can actually grab these HUD files. Sorry about the mic here. Fruit HUD. So if you take this guy and you pull him into this program, it's going to tell you. Obviously, you don't need map for fruit HUDs, but it's going to tell you the size of it and its format. And actually, I usually use DTX5, so I'm surprised that it actually is DTX1. It's also DTX1. Let's look and see what Apple. Yeah, that's a DTX5. Usually you want the DTX5 because it's a transparent, so I'm going to stick with the DTX5. I'm not really sure why I did that, but anyhow, that program will break it down. Like I said, if you pull it in there, if it only has one over here, then it has no map. It's going to give you the size and it's going to give you the format. It's kind of handy to have. Very handy program. So anyway, back to what I was doing. So you can also go image, resize, and it'll tell you it's 256. So image, he's already 256. But what I'm going to do is make it easier to save is I'm going to actually hit Control A. I'm going to copy that guy. I'm going to hit Control A, delete, Control V, and this gives me the basic name I need. So, and it's going to go back to the same place I need it to be, which is in the fruit HUD. So I'm going to go File, Save As. Then we're just going to go into here and we're going to call it coffee. And you want to spell it the same way. Very, very important. Make sure your caps aren't messed up as well. We're going to hit Save. I am going to save it as DTX5. I'm not going to save it as map. I'm going to hit OK. And sometimes when I actually type in coffee across there, I know the small image resize, we're just going to resize this guy to 20 or 64 by 64. I'm going to hit OK. Control All or A, delete. Control All C. Control V. And go File, Save As. And once again, the reason I pulled them in is it's easier for the name, not having to remember to type all this stuff in. So we know we just need to change this to coffee. Okay, and save. And we're going to do DTX5 as well, no map. Hit OK. Okay, so we're done with the fruit. Don't save. So just as a basic with no heap, no tip to the ground, no materials, you can just add this guy in. And this is what I want to show you is kind of cool about actually having this fork category that I'm using it for. So let's go ahead and get into the game. This comes in handy with some fabric stuff I'm putting together. So, alright, so we're on game 5, I think is what I want to run on. Start. And actually what I need to do is I'll need to save this so it registers it to the silo. So we're going to save, yes. Alright, we're going to come back to my screen. I want to double check my errors, make sure I didn't mess something up. Always a good thing to check. So I'm going to Control F, we're going to go warning. And that's only because I don't have my map zipped. No other warnings. Error. No other errors. So we don't have an issue with the fruit. Or fill type, sorry. We'll go ahead and just close that guy out so we don't have an issue. So now, to cheat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up that game save. It's for testing reasons. My games. And we're in game save 5. I'm going to go to vehicles and I'm going to hit Control F. Search for coffee. And right there it is in the silo. If I wouldn't have saved the game, I could add it in manually. But then you'd have to come up here and somewhere there's a number that you have to change. And I'm trying to remember where it is. But it's just easier to do a game save quick. So we can just go ahead and actually add this guy in quick. So we're just going to say, put 1,000,000 in there just to be quick about it. And hit save on the vehicles, close them down, go back into the game. Like I said, this just makes it nice to be able to test your textures and everything out. Which, right now we don't have any textures, but later on we will. And you can just, this trailer, I want to test it out anyway, so. This is a cool thing about this style here. Is I can take this guy, pull this trailer in. And if you look up my mods, this pallet trailer is in there. And we're going to go coffee. As you can see, we're getting pallets of coffee. So like I said, it beats having to go through and register all the fill type, or the fill planes, and the tip to ground, and the heap, and all that good stuff. I'm actually utilizing it for placeable fabrics, so that I don't have to just get one pallet at a time. That's the biggest drawback to me on fabric right now on placeables, is it's either heap on the ground or you have to do one pallet at a time, because I have not seen a pallet mover yet utilizing a placeable. So that's just that little go around. Let's get out of here and go in and show you the rest of the fun part. Now, I personally, once you add, I can't remember if it's like 5 or 6. It's more than that. I'd have to look it up. I can't remember if it's 12. I'd have to Google. Once you get too many tip to ground, which is the heap function, that's when you start running into issues like Seasons had that. I think once I was talking to Maverick, and once he hit a certain point, he could no longer add in more fruits because the heap was messing him up. He thought it was a fruit issue when it was actually the heap issue. Tip to ground, I should say. So let's go ahead and go back into my map. Pine Lake. I got a few of them here. So we're going to actually set this guy up to be a heap. And we'll go through the whole process of adding this guy in. So hit Control F, coffee, find. Alright, so we're going to go across and we're going to switch this to materials true, has particles true, and has heap true. And like I said, if you don't want to tip at the ground, then you just keep this at false. But we're going to go ahead and add all this good stuff in. Just going to hit save on that guy. We're done with the mod script again. Alright, so now we got to go to the tip to ground, or tip on ground. And once again, if you have any issues with any of these guys, you can just pull them over and see what they are exactly. What we'll do is, we know that compost is one of the originals, so let's just copy these guys for now. Copy here, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to call them coffee. this. Come on. Paste it. And once again, to get the right type of texture, we're going to go ahead and pull this guy in. And usually use a DTX5 on the diffuse because you can see through it, and I think the rest are going to be DTX1. And they have mid-map, so yeah, it's DTX1. And this guy, yeah, DTX1 mid-map. Okay. Just want to double check. Usually anything going into the map is going to be the mid-map because it helps the computer process the texture. So as a coffee diffuse, now I basically need to find coffee beans somewhere. So once again, we're just going to jump on the internet. I don't know, I guess for reasons of if you want to do this with another fruit or fill type, we're going to go ahead and do it this way and see if we can show you how to do this. Coffee bean. And we're going to go to, actually let's go, it actually doesn't look bad there. Let's go ahead and copy this image. We're going to go ahead and open this guy, and I'm going to go edit, paste into new image. I'm going to go image, canvas size. We're going to try to make this guy the same. We want to make it square. And that texture's probably going to be a little too large as well, but let's go ahead and just change this to 408. Keep it in the center, hit OK. So that's not too bad. And like I said, I want to get the, so what we can do is we can actually go to the in-game stuff. Data, fill planes. Let's just look at, for example, soybean. This will just give me, see how small it is. Image, resize, yeah, it's 512. Okay. So let's go ahead and go image, resize. We're the same size, we're good there. So I'm going to go ahead and save this guy to the desktop, and we can save it as a PNG, is not an issue. Hit save. Okay, let's do it this way. Coffee. Hit OK. Let's minimize this down, and then I suggest having GIMP because this little guy is going to help out to make this seamless. Because I don't think, I guess I could have checked. I'm pretty sure if I take this guy and go Control A, C, edit, paste into new layer, Control CV. Don't think he's going to be seamless. And by seamless, if you don't know, that means you can butt it up against, yeah, see how you can see the line? So it's definitely not seamless. So we're going to take this guy here, we're going to open up with GIMP. And GIMP is over here. So we're going to go ahead, and it's got to be square. That's what's important as well. We're going to go filters, and we're going to go to somewhere map, make seamless. And it's going to look a little goofy, but it doesn't look too bad. We're going to Control All. We're going to hit Control C. Go back to paint.net, and I'm going to go Control V. Now we're going to go image, resize. We're going to take this down to 256. 256. So it's still pretty large. So image, resize. Let's go 175 by 175. Hit OK. And that's not too bad. Control Alt C, Control V. Control CV. Gonna zoom into this guy, and like I said, now see how there's no line there. Control CV. See how you cannot see the difference between the separation there? That is what Seamless does, so it's kind of nice. We're just going to basically move this guy to the edges. Control CV. Yeah, something happened there. Oops. Edit. Redo. Edit. D. Control C. Control V. Not sure what happened there, but we got a little bit out of whack. Control CV. Let's scroll out. Alright, now when we scroll out, it doesn't look horribly bad. You can see there's a little bit of blotchiness there. I can actually probably take this again and make it seamless, but I'm going to get rid of this background. I'm going to go ahead and file, save as. It's on the desktop, save, yes. DTX5, generate bitmap, hit OK. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to grab this guy and pull him into GIMP again, just to see. Discard. Let's go Tools, Filters, Map, Make Seamless. Yeah, it doesn't look so good, so we'll keep the other one. That'll be alright. Discard changes. So we have our coffee diffuse. It's so. Let's see what it looks like. Probably could have used another one. I don't think it's going to look too bad in game. Let's go ahead and close these out. Don't save. So now I need a coffee normal. Do the normal. There's a couple of different ways. I found this shader map 4. I'll have to maybe see if I can find that and put it in the description as well. But this guy is pretty slick because you can just pull your diffuse right into that program as well, and it makes quick work of things. You can use GIMP. It can be a little more difficult on specular stuff. But as you can see, it just automatically does this for you. So basically you can just come up here, click it, and that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to hit this little guy here and decide where to save it. We're going to go desktop. I'm going to save it as a DDS. We want to go coffee normal, like so. Yes, to replace it. Save. I want to minimize this for now. Now what I do want to do, I want to bring it back up into paint.net because it can get the coordinates messed up a little bit. We're going to file, save, and this needs to be the DTX1 bitmap. Hit OK. Alright, close him out, and then while I'm here I'm going to make it specular as well. Now this is the only part I'm not too crazy about. It's you have to mess with the specular a little bit. It's a little light, so I want to turn the brightness down a little bit. I'll turn this contrast. And this is basically for your sunlight reflection. To give you an idea what you're working with, once again we can go to the data files, data, fill plane, and if you look like this specular, see how dark it is? We're definitely not there with this guy. So that's where I'm still not extremely happy with this program on this, but you can kind of mess with it. Detail. I actually like that right there. At this level, it's just going to attain that, so we're going to keep that cranked up. So contrast. It's looking a little better. Still really dark though. We'll keep that up for reference. I said this guy's really whacked, and that doesn't look too good either. So I'll just keep playing with this a little bit till we get what we want. Turn the brightness down. That's not bad. Contrast. It's got kind of the same look there, so let's go ahead and take this guy. I'm going to save this. Going to go DDS, and we want to save this as specular. We don't need it right away here, but we're going to need it later, so we're going to save him. Save, and I think we are done with this program. We can use, there's a blur in here, but we're gonna just go ahead and close this guy out. He's using my PC like crazy. Using, abusing. So once again, we want to open this up, and we want to save DTX1 bitmap. That actually doesn't look bad. So use a reference folder, you know, if you can find another photo, that's great. Now, on the distance, basically we just need to find another color that's going to look like coffee from a distance, a little blurry, and this actually doesn't look too bad. Maybe a little darker. So what you can actually do is, let's go adjustments, brightness, whoops, Control Z, adjustments, brightness and contrast. And let's just kind of darken this guy up. That's a little better. It's just kind of a blurred version of it from a distance. So we're going to go ahead and save this guy as a DTX1 bitmap. Hit OK. Alright, so let's get rid of this before I mess it up. Go back to the tip to ground. So once again, all we need is the diffuse, normal, and the distance diffuse. So there is the diffuse, the normal, and the distance. We're going to use the specular later. We're going to go ahead and copy those guys into the tip to ground. So that part is done. That's the easy part. Now you're going to get into the actual fun stuff. So we're going to go Maps, PS System, and here's your fill planes, and there's where all your good stuff is, and this is where I was talking about. You got your Apple Diffuse, Apple Normal, Apple Specular. So we're going to grab this guy, and this guy. Why they're all over the place, I do not know. Copy here. Once again, Apple Diffuse, image, resize is 512. So that's still the same. So we got everything there. Fill planes, yeah, it's just old stuff there. So back to, now we're in the particle system. Fill planes, we need it in here as well, but I think all we need is the diffuse and normal. Yep. So the coffee diffuse and the coffee normal, copy them into here, and that is it for that. Now once again, go ahead and get rid of these guys for now. I'm going to show you how this next step goes, and to kind of demonstrate, most of you guys know this, but this is going to help on import export for people to understand this. But what I did is threw a quick little deal here together. So say, getting into what we're going to do is we're going to start messing with textures, and to explain how textures work in the program, I'm going to show you how materials work. So I'm going to open up this just decal, basically. What I set this up as, it's just going to be blue. Now, to give you an idea, if you just take this guy, another part of the program, and to explain what I'm getting to, let's go back to fill planes. No, got to go back to the map. I already backed out. So Pine Lake, maps, PS system, particle system. So I'm going to get rid of this stuff because we're going to do this later. Belt, leveler, pipe, smoke, unloading. Delete them because we're going to remake them. So basically you're not going to want cutter effect, you want the map effect. This is what actually affects how everything unloads in the game. So each one of these sections you have to add coffee, and this is where I'm going to get in all this texture stuff. See how there's all this material holders and everything else. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to actually go in and change some diffuses around. So to explain this a little bit, and more than likely if you're doing this you understand this already, but I'm going to explain it anyway. So you have a blue plane here, and say this is like compost and we want to make coffee. So you normally hit copy or Control D to duplicate. So you have your second little plane, you move it off to the side and go, okay, we're going to make this one red. Say this is blueberries and this one's going to be apples. So you go over here to your diffuse, and you go over to my little decal folder, and I go red. Well, when I switch that, well, look at that, we changed both of them, and it's because they say they're sharing the same material, and you can't add material inside Giants Editor as far as I know. So this is how we're going to do it. I'm going to show you the trick to this. We're going to go ahead and back this out. We're going to open blue back up, and we're going to go File, Export All with Files. We're going to put it in the same folder, and we're just going to call this New for now. We're going to hit Save. I don't want to get parent structure because there is none. Alright, we're just going to go ahead and minimize that guy. So now we have our new material basically. So what we can do is we're going to make a red. So I'm going to actually copy this red. Copy. I'm going to go into this guy. I'm going to edit it. And anywhere it says blue, I'm going to paste in red. And here's the big thing is material. I'm going to go ahead and paste in red. Down here, I'm going to paste in red. I'm going to hit save. Close this guy out. I'm going to go back to this blue guy. I'm going to hit import. I'm going to hit new. And now we have a red. And say you want to do multiple, the cool thing about this is it's already imported in here. You don't need it i3D anymore. So you can go down and say we want yellow. So we can copy this guy. We're going to edit. Now everything that has red, we're going to paste in yellow. We're going to hit save. Close this out. Go back to here. Import that new. And ta-da, now we have yellow and so forth. And just to test this out to make sure that I'm using that same i3D, you're saying, okay, well, how come that isn't matching up? Well, we're changing the material and you're importing, exporting. I don't know all the details of Giants Editor. This is just how it works, and I've tested this, so we're good. But just to prove it, we're going to take this yellow, we're going to go back out, and we're going to choose a white, close out, and as you can see, we only changed the yellow one. If we go to the red, go back here, and we go blue, we only changed the red one. Obviously, that's kind of a bad example, but we can go back in here. We can do this all day, but as you can see, we're only changing the individual decal or label. So that just a a quick rundown on how that works. I just wanted to explain that. So let's get into business. Sorry about taking the extra 10 minutes there, but it just kind of explains it a little bit. So back into the maps, PS system. We're going to start with fill planes. Once again, let's get rid of this Apple i3D. Yes. We're going to go to fill plane material holder. I'm going to open him up. Alright, so we're just going to take this guy and we're going to export this all out. There's only one on this, so that's what makes it nice. So we're going to go File. Actually, let's do one of the first ones. Compost is what I'm kind of using an example. Let's go File, Export Selection with Files. So we have to be careful. It's going back to where I was messing with the decal stuff. So you have to make sure you get back into the same folder. So I'm going to go where I know it's at. 17. I look for Pine Lake, Maps, PS System. We're in Fill Planes. And that's where we're at. So, okay. So we're going to take this and we're just going to call this coffee. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to hit no for directory. Alright, now we have our coffee. So once again, let's copy this coffee. Copy that. Edit with notepad. And everything that says compost, we're going to go ahead and hit Control F. We're going to go replace. And we want compost. We want to replace it with coffee. So we're going to click up here, hit find next. So we're going to replace that guy, going to replace him, going to replace him, and same thing with the material. We're going to go ahead and replace him, replace him, replace him. Let's keep on going down the line. And that should be it. Close, and we're going to go ahead and hit save. And one other thing I'm seeing when I'm doing this is I already almost forgot is HUD, fill types. We got to make sure we grab that the other HUD. So let's go back to maps. Pine Lake, fruit HUD, and I need the coffee. I think we only need a large one, but we're going to grab them both. Control C, back here, maps, PS system, fill plane, HUD, fill types, and we only need the HUD fill coffee. We don't need the small, so we'll just delete him out. I happen to see that in that i3D, so back to fill planes. So we saved the coffee. We can go ahead and edit and look at it again. There should be all coffees in here. The only thing that needs to be a change is the coffee itself. So we're going to open this fill plane material holder back up. We're going to import and make sure in the same spot. So P systems, maps, PS system, fill plane material holders. We're good. We're just going to import coffee, and there you go. I don't have to really move it up like that, but I did anyway. So now everything's coffee. It's coffee there, there's your fill plane. If you look over at your diffuse, it's actually coffee. And just to be safe, let's look back up at compost and make sure we didn't change it. Look at that, still compost, so we're good. Just a good practice to do, just to make sure you didn't mess up, even though I was showing you how it wouldn't do it. So there you go. That's one section. Now the fun begins. So we're going to go ahead and hit save, close this guy down. You can go ahead, just to keep your map small, you can go ahead and delete these out, or if you have a bunch more to do, you could have renamed that new. That way you wouldn't have to keep looking at coffee. But anyway, we're going to hit delete. Yes. We're going to go back to PS systems. We're going to the particle system itself. Now this is not going to be a plantable fruit, so we don't have to worry about cutter effect. And we don't have to worry about particle map. Let's look at the particle. Yeah, we're not worried about smoke. That's only on on loading and stuff, if I remember right. So we don't have to worry about that guy. Cutter's going to be the same way. This is for the heads of the harvesters, as you can see. So we don't need that guy. Close him out. We're going to go to the actual effect map material holder. Okay, so here's the fun again. We're going to go to the onloading. As you can see, they're all in here. Got to add coffee to that. So we're going to go compost. We're going to go file, export selection with files. And once again, we got it in the right spot. We're on fill planes. So I want to back out. Particle systems. We want to make sure we're in the same folder as the effect map material holder. So we're good. So we're actually just going to call this onloading. I hit enter. Nope. I want smoke, compost, file, export selection with files. We're going to call this smoke. Enter. No. I'm going to go straw. It won't be in there. There's no compost. Chopper. Same thing. No compost. Soil. Nothing there. Spreader. It is in there, but we're not going to use it in the spreader, so we don't have to worry about that. Pipe. It's in there, so we're going to go file, export selection with files. Call this pipe. Gonna hit save. No. Belt. Compost. File. Export selection with files. We're going to call this belt. Hit no. Alright, leveler. File, export selection with files. Enter. Nope. Alright, I think that is it. So once again, we can minimize this guy. And sometimes I close it just to make sure I don't mess something up. Doesn't hurt. Alright, so I'm going to start right at belt. We're going to right click on this guy, edit with notepad. Same thing, we're going to control F. I'm going to go replace, compost with coffee. So I'm going to start at the top, I'm going to hit find, I'm going to replace, 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 replace. I think that is it. So we're going to hit close. Belt is done. Close him out. And we're going to go to leveler, edit, control F, replace, same thing. We're going to start find, replace. I like to do them. You can hit replace all. I just kind of like to look where they're at before I just start hitting. So we're good there. We're going to hit save, close him. I'm going to leave all this up so I don't have to keep doing that. I want pipe, edit, find, replace. And once again, so if you hit replace all, just bloop, it's going to blow through them all. But like I said, I kind of like to see what it's replacing just to make sure it's not something goofy. So we're going to save, going to close that guy. I'm going to go smoke, find, replace, replace, replace. Save him. Because I was going through in Giants Editor and doing this, and it was such a pain. This is so much easier. Replace, replace. Replace, 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 replace. Got quite a few in here. Alright. I think that's it. Unloading. That's it. So now, like I said, when you go into belt, coffee there, coffee belt, going to here, it's coffee, going to there, it's a coffee normal. So yeah, close that out. So now I have another way you can bring them all in and they'd be all organized, but let's do it this way. I find this a little easier to mess with. So we need to go into the effect map material holder like so. and we're going to bring these in as they're lined up here. So we need onloading, so we're going to go import onloading. We're just going to take this guy, Control X to cut, Control V to paste, and it throws it right in like so. We're going to hit save, and then we want smoke, so we're going to import smoke, Control X, Control V, switch in your smoke, and just to make sure, as you can see, it's a smoke material type. Alright, now we don't have straw, we don't have chopper, we don't have soil, we don't have spreader, we're going to have a pipe though. So we're going to import pipe. We're going to, and I can do it this way too, paste pipe. And actually, to make it less confusing, we can actually do it this way. We want belt, so we're going to go import belt, Control X, Control V, and we need leveler, so import leveler, X, V, hit save, close this guy out. Now we go into game. Oh, I need to go to the mod descript. Oh let's see, mod descript. Find. Okay, so we switched this stuff, but this is still fork, so we need to switch it to bulk train auger wagon. Copy that, paste, has materials true, particles true, heap true. Alright, so we're going to save this guy, go to the game, game save 5. I don't think I had any mods to add. Alright, grab this guy. Coffee. And look at that, we got pipe effect. It's in the trailer, and see what it looks like. It don't look too bad. Come up here, let's dump it into the tipping point. Okay, let's go over to the ground. Have coffee beans on the ground. And it's even got a good specular look to it. So there you go, man. Create a fill type on the ground. I was gonna check one more thing. It says auger wagon. See if I can find the auger wagon in here, and I don't know if I can load it from the. Where are the augers? There we go. Buy that guy. Let's go to tractors. Let's grab one of these guys just for the heck of it. Could show off the tractor this way. So this is the NFL pack if anyone's interested on this guy. He's colorable as well, but basically puts a logo on the top and the back of the seat. But anyway, enough show and tell on that. I don't know if these guys will load out of the silo or not. We're going to find out. Yeah, looks like it. So there you go. And it's a cool thing about this little pallet trailer. It'll also work. I gotta remember how to use this guy now. There it goes. You can also fill it with regular fruits as well. So that's a cool thing about that little trailer. So I don't look too shabby. So that is that. And like I said, the whole heap thing, if you don't have a whole lot of fruits on your map, it's fine, but if you start getting, I have to look it up. I can't remember if it's like 26 or 32 or 64. I'm sure it's an odd number like that. Usually 64 was the big thing on FS17. So, but basically all you'd have to do is go back. Let's close this out. So say you don't want heap, you just switch it to false. And you just basically skip the first section where we did the tip to ground. You just wouldn't need this stuff. It's not looking for if there's no tip to ground, but we can go back in to show you. It basically just won't give you the option to dump to the ground now, unload to the ground. So basically, if we start the wheat, come up here, unload here, dumps it on the ground. So just to show you that tip to ground is still working on the map. Unload that. Coffee. So now when I pull over here, as you can see, it's not giving me the unload to ground option. So pretty much that. So yeah, I hope that made any sense. I went through, it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours on the last time I was trying to do this because I was struggling a little bit. And I knew what to do, I just didn't know about switching all the material names, but not like that was a big deal. But like I said, hopefully this was helpful. I'll probably pull the last one because like I said, it was just a little bit confusing. Make sure this guy works. Yep, we can also dump to the ground. So like I said, if you like it, let me know. Leave me feedback. If you don't like it, let me know as well. Feedback helps everyone. Like I said, and that usually leads to questions as well. So as always, I hope you enjoyed. Take it easy, guys. We'll catch you next time.